Hi, hello. It's the Jessica LaSala Show. Number 12. Got a great guest coming up, Mr. Corey Hardy. We go back a ways. He's a baller. Shot caller. Want to get to the NFL real quick though with some broken news. The New York Giants. Their coach has gotten into a fight. The head coach, Joe Judge, and the offensive line coach, Mark Colombo. This big ass dude, former offensive lineman, played in a metal band. He got mad at Joe Judge for bringing in a consultant. Got a little salty about it. And then got a little physical about it. And then he got fired. I've been pretty upset at some of my bosses in the past. Never got physically violent with them. Never. It was a weird week in the NFL. The Packers lost to the Colts. And I'll say it once, I'll say it again throughout the season. Wake me up when the playoffs start because all this shit is bull nene. The whole point is to get into the playoffs, right? And the way we play, we don't even need home field advantage because there's no goddamn fans in the stands. And it's just going to be cold as dick outside in Green Bay, Wisconsin, so somebody else take that number 1 seed. We're good. We'll come to your place. Just like we did in 2010 when we won a ring. So yeah, that Packers game was a fluke. Gave the ball away 4 times, including on the last possession in overtime when we were rolling on offense. Marquez Valdes-Scantling, who was a hero the drive before, even to get us down the field, he gets the ball poked out, fumbles it. Colts run 3 plays and kick a field goal. That's like the bitchest way to win a game I've ever seen. Nobody wanted that win, goddammit. And for the Packers fans out there sending death threats to Marquez Valdes-Scantling, shut the fuck up. There were 3 other turnovers you could be upset about before you want to get on this dude's case. The dude from the Colts made a great play. He punched the ball out. He came through 2 blockers and punched the ball out. That was hardly MVS's fault. If anything, it was a bad play call. The defender said, we've seen them run this play a few times during the game, so I jumped on it. So that's on Matt LaFleur if you want to start doing some death threats, which you shouldn't. It's a regular season game. We're 7-3 on top of the division, guaranteed a home playoff game. Shut up. But people in Wisconsin are a little murderous these days. Mr. Rittenhouse. You fuck. Got bailed out by some child star. I won't get to that yet. Sean Payton's a savage. Sean Payton, sassy man, retweeted Roddy White's prediction of the game. We're going to roll over. Why you're going to bring Taysom out? Y'all going to be a snack, he said. Well, y'all got snacked, sir. Falcons are terrible. Blow that shit up. I know you can't really trade Matt Ryan because of the cap implications. Also, Julio Jones. Just, woo! Falcons fans, 28-3. That's not even a Super Bowl hangover. That's a Super Bowl coma. Y'all haven't been relevant since y'all lost that goddamn Super Bowl. Pathetic. Patrick Mahomes puts ketchup on everything, including his Thanksgiving turkey and ham. Now, this dude is already suspect. Great quarterback. Terrible voice. ugly face, ugly wife, but great quarterback. They barely beat the Raiders. Almost got swept by the Raiders. Now, I know everybody thinks the Chiefs are the best team in the league right now. If we're going to go by record, I believe that belongs to Pittsburgh, PA, on the banks of the Three Rivers. Last night I watched the Tampa Bay and Los Angeles Rams game, and Tom Brady again proved to me what a bitch he is, because when he lost, he did not shake Jared Goff's hand. He has a pattern of this, when he loses. Now, here's the thing. When he lost to Breeze in week 1, he shook his hand. When he beat Rodgers, he shook his hand. When he lost to Nick Foles, he was nowhere to be seen. When he lost to Jared Goff, Goff was walking around the field looking for him like, what happened? Brady is 1-6 in his last 7 primetime games. I'll say that again. Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time, is 1-6 in his last 7 primetime games. Mike McCarthy and the Cowboys got a great win over the Minnesota Vikings, putting them in the playoff chase in possibly the worst division in NFL history, the NFC least. And before the game against the Vikings, allegedly Mike McCarthy was smashing watermelons with a sledgehammer to pump his guys up. This is not the Mike McCarthy I know from Green Bay. I don't know where this came from. I don't know what analytics told him that this was going to be a good move. But after that win, I think you have to do it before every game. And I don't know, this week, maybe is it seasonal? Like you smash pumpkins because it's Thanksgiving? You're playing the Redskins? The Washington football team? I don't know. You smash a cornucopia? You smash a turkey, dare I say? A live turkey in the locker room. You smash it with a sledgehammer. That'll pump your guys up. In other news, the PS5 and the Xbox Series, whatever. I'm not an Xbox guy, so I don't know. But the PS5 sales online are ending in violent robberies. So people are going crazy about this new PlayStation Xbox thing that just dropped recently. I went on record saying I'm not buying that shit until all the bugs are fixed and they drop the price a little bit. Probably next, I don't know, when does Madden come out? August? Yeah, I'll get mine probably in July. But these wacko doodles are buying them right off the, standing in line, COVID, butt fucking, trying to get this goddamn PlayStation that overheats anyway. And somebody bought them all up, or, a lot of people just buy them all up and then sell them on the black market for, a profit. In a lot of these cases, when they meet up to make the exchange, there's a gun. There's violence. There's bricks inside the box and not really a PlayStation or Xbox. Hold your horses, people. Come on. You can be patient. Look, there's only a handful of people in the fucking world who have these things. You're going to be playing online with nobody. Everybody's still on the PS4 and the regular Xbox, okay? Just chill. The world's about to end. Just relax. In Staten Island, a nurse stole the credit card from one of her dying COVID patients. Yeah. I've never been to Staten Island. Well, technically I have. I went to the Staten Island Dairy Queen inside the Staten Island Ferry dock. But then we got right back on the Staten Island Ferry and went back to Manhattan. And I gotta tell you, that Dairy Queen, it tasted like Staten Island. Alright, we're gonna get to our guest, Mr. Corey Hardy, longtime friend and like-minded soul, I would say. And really thought-compelling when it comes to the Saints, Pelicans, and life. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. Joining us tonight, Mr. Corey Hardy. Corey, what's up, brother?
What's good, man? How are you?
I'm good, man. How you been doing?
I'm good, man. I'm back in New Orleans right now for a minute. Been out on the East Coast for a little while, but you know, it's true. You miss it. So back in New Orleans for a minute, and then gonna head back out east after Mardi Gras. You up in Brooklyn?
Yeah, man. I've been
Nice,
here
man.
for about 5 years, and I'm about to move back to Laffy and
Nice.
hunker down until the vaccine gets distributed.
I hear you, dude. I hear you, man.
You know, there's really no point in living in New York if you can't go do anything. You know?
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, man. Thankfully, there's a lot to do outside around here. I've been riding my bike a lot, so.
Yeah, do you
yeah.
wear a mask with the bike riding, or what's your mask protocol?
My mask protocol is like if I'm within like distance, you know, the social distance of anybody. But you know, on the bikes, it's pretty wide open space, bike lanes. You know, it's not real crowded. But Orleans Parish is actually doing pretty well relative to the state. So, you know, keep it up, Orleans. So, but you know, the rest of the state needs to get with it.
Yeah, it's pretty tough sell for my fiance moving down to a state that's, you know,
Oh man,
rising every day, and it's hard to convince her that it's gonna be okay.
I hear you. Thankfully, you know, my girl's a travel nurse, so she's it was her call to come down here. I didn't really have to do much begging, but we're enjoying it now.
Well, okay, so we have a lot to get to.
Yeah, for sure.
But I want to first of all apologize for, you know, my role in any discomfort you had as a manager at Ground Patty.
Oh man, throwback. Jeez. Oh, that was so. Just context. I worked there from when I was 15 to when I was about 23, and the characters that went through that establishment in my tenure was, I mean, lifelong friends, no doubt, but man, some of those guys, we could tell some stories. But you know, we got you, Larry, Tunde, you know, that crew. I remember Kelly working there for a little while.
Yep.
So yeah, it was fun times.
Very eccentric cast at times.
No, for sure.
Do you have any specific memories of me and Larry or anybody where you were just like, what the fuck is wrong with these people?
I remember quite often you guys decided that, like just when it was slow outside, it was time to play football in the parking lot. Yeah. That was pretty regular. And you know, being the players coach that I am, it's hard to rein you guys in. So I figured out by the end, if I just let you guys do whatever you wanted, we got the work done.
That's interesting that you would say players coach. Yeah. That is sort of the better managers were the ones that were just sort of like, all right, they're gonna get their work done, but also there's some jack-offs, and you gotta let them stretch their wings a little bit.
Dude, the manager stories. I think I'm the only one that came out clean out of there. Jeez, some crazy stuff.
Yeah, there was some theft and embezzlement. I don't know, all kinds of stuff.
All kind of nastiness.
That's good. Well, yeah. So I apologize for any stress that I put on you during those years. But
hey, man, bygones.
There you go. When was the last time you had a ground patty hamburger?
Oh man, it's been a minute. I think I'm probably still burnt out on it. I'm not. I don't think I'm exaggerating. I think I'm still burnt out on it.
It kind of reaches a point where it's just, you know, it's so free and it's so dated.
It's just
It is just like, again with
by
this?
year 7 or 8, we're trying to make concoctions out of hamburger
Right.
that I don't even. It's wild.
Yeah, people were making like fried meatballs at one point, and it got wild. All right,
Yeah.
so for Thanksgiving this year, what are your plans? I mean, are you going to see family? Is there going to be
No,
some craziness?
no, man. No, we're gonna like. My grandparents are older, so we're definitely gonna play it safe and stay. I'm gonna stay here in New Orleans. We've got a small little crew. That's not even gonna. We're not even gonna meet inside. We're gonna hopefully, weather permitting. We're gonna just go out and sit out in the park in a big old circle and kind of just chat. So that's the extent of it. No cross contamination in people's houses.
Right.
It's just nothing to mess with these days.
Yeah, it sucks, man. Especially for my fiance. She's leaving the state that she's grown up in her whole life, and of course,
Yeah.
Thanksgiving is like her last shot to see these people. But it's just so irresponsible. And then we were about to go see her father last weekend, and they had to go get COVID tested because somebody got COVID in their family. So it was just it's just so sticky.
So sticky. Yeah. And my grandparents are in their late 80s. So it's, you want to make sure you want to get the holidays in because you never know. But at the same time, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I heard the thing that said, nobody's going to die if we don't have Thanksgiving, but people might if we do. So.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And God, it's a fucking evil disease. That some people have symptoms and some people don't. It's just such a fucking. Do you think it was
Man,
created, or you think it's? Is there any conspiracy about this, or what are your thoughts on the whole COVID?
Dude, no. I mean, we're talking what, 250,000 deaths now in the country. Created by a pangolin in the Wuhan district of China and mismanaged animal facilities. Yeah, maybe, but not by humans.
Right.
Let's just trust science here and get through it. There's been human pandemic. There's been pandemics in the past. Spanish flu. There's been all this. Smallpox in the distant past. There's been pandemics before the human race has got through it. So just stick together. We'll get through it again.
And what do you think whenever you see somebody not wearing a mask or just being totally irresponsible? Like when you see pictures of
I just honestly at this point, yeah, I've wasted so much energy caring that I just take care of myself and stay away from those people. Kind of let them contaminate their own little bubble and keep the responsible people out of it, and let Darwinism take its course.
Yeah, exactly. It's dark, but it's how it has to be. I mean, apparently, some people think they're immune to it. Some people think they're immune to anything. I mean, look, when I was a dumbass 20-year-old, I probably would have been trying to go out because I was horny and I just wanted to see girls. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, they just shut down. There's a big old investigation. They had a club out in Metairie the other night that was just popping.
Yeah, it's just nobody's. I would at least be wearing a mask, but I would still be out there trying to see some action. But God, man, it's tough with the younger people. At first, they came out and said that young people can't die from it, and it's pretty rare. But still, man,
the scary part about young people is the whole asymptomatic thing. Is that we're actually, we're more prone to take it in stride, so we can be careless and pass it on to the people in our lives that are not going to take it in stride, like our grandparents, like our, immunosuppressed family, those guys. So that's what we got to be careful for.
Yeah, man. Well, this all started with Trump, and I know you're not really a big fan of his, but he did sort of concede.
Understatement of the century.
How has this 4 years been on you mentally? Because I think it's broken a lot of people. My father included, me included. I reached my capacity at some point where I was just like, oh my God, like he's just gonna get away with everything, isn't he?
it's incredible, and it really took. And I'll be quite honest, it took me kind of leaving Louisiana and leaving that kind of echo chamber, that bubble, to be exposed and be friends with people that are really negatively affected by the things that are so normal in the place we grew up. So, like, there's, you know, the racist rhetoric and the sexist rhetoric. I'm friends with people that hurts. The anti-LGBTQ rhetoric, that hurts a lot of people that I really care about. So it's been, difficult, not from, I'm a white guy. It's not difficult in any sense in my life, relative, but it has been, difficult in a sense that it's kind of polarized a lot of relationships, stretched a lot of them thin. So, I don't really have as much touch with people back in Lafayette back home as I used to, just because, I am a bit outspoken, to the, contrary to their belief system. So I'm not going to apologize for it, but, I'm just thankful that it's over and that we can all kind of start to take deep breath and move in a direction where politics didn't rule every conversation we had. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it's always a touchy subject, but I feel like these 4 years in particular, it's not just about politics, it's about humanity and sort of just character.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like there's so many things that have been politicized, like Black Lives Matter, like wearing a mask, something that's been a part of, Eastern Asian culture for centuries. When they're sick, they wear masks. It's the thing with this virus is you don't know if you're sick. And it seems like those two things can't be understood by millions of people. Or they claim it's some kind of political, I've heard the words election infection out of somebody in my family's mouth, like it was supposed to go away. And here we are, Thanksgiving, and dealing with the worst of it. So
my favorite part is how Trump tried to claim credit for the vaccine, and it was actually something that was being developed, I think, in Russia or actually Germany before.
Yeah, so I think the initial deal was that he claimed credit for the Pfizer vaccine. That was he claimed that as part of Operation Warp Speed, but then Pfizer came out, claimed that they didn't take any federal money, that they were doing it on their own. Now, granted, Operation Warp Speed and the whole general consensus of the scientific community was rush this thing, so you could give him a sliver of credit, but it by no means was his doing.
Yeah.
I saw Geraldo Rivera on TV the other day suggested that we name the vaccine Trump.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Get a little Trump in your veins.
Oh, then nobody would take it. Gee, or some people. Oh, interesting. That's
half of the country, man.
That's a conundrum. I see that like 40% of the country is not going to take the vaccine. Are those all Trumpists?
Man, I can't even. I don't even know. I don't even know anymore. Can't even tell up from down anymore.
It's so bizarre. It's
so bizarre.
The weirdest time we've ever lived through, and I don't know. It doesn't feel well. It's still. I mean, I like that Trump is out, but I'm not even sure about Biden and Kamala. It's all.
Yeah, man. Trust. I'm by no means a Biden apologist. Like, that was just. I was all about getting the crazy, racist, sexist, general stupid person out of the White House. And now I'm a progressive and I'm focused on other issues at hand. And Biden is by no means the answer to what I want to see done. So, got a lot of work left to do.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll get off with politics. It's just fun to speak to a like-minded person about it whenever it comes up. But, like you said, with family members, it gets crazy. And luckily, most of my family is very progressive, and it's easier to get through. But like you said, whenever you got to sit down at Thanksgiving and talk about how Trump should have won or he did win, it's going to get weird for a lot of people, I think.
Yeah, man. I mean, thankfully, I think people are just, from my experiences lately, I guess in the last few months or so since it all started getting real crazy, people either kind of avoid talking to me about it because they know there's nothing really they can throw out, or there's some that have kind of started to admit the craziness going on. So hopefully more start seeing the light.
Amen. All right, so we're talking about the Saints now. Big win over the Falcons.
Yeah, big win, man. That was crazy.
What the hell is going on with Taysom Hill? Like, did you want to see Jameis start, or were you all for Taysom?
Look, here's my thing, and I think that Taysom deserved a shot. He's been waiting in the wings for this, been talked about for 2.5 years about being, the next, the quarterback in waiting. And Teddy got the shot last year over him because he was so useful as that gadget guy. They didn't really want to take him out of that role. Teddy got his contract, and now the whole thing is like, oh, Teddy got the shot. Why didn't Jameis get the shot? Well, why didn't Taysom get the shot last year? We could go round in circles, but man, I don't know if it's smoke and mirrors yet. I need to see it a little more, but that was fun.
Dude, he fucking threw some dimes. I mean,
he threw some dimes, and he also threw one straight into the ground at one point. But like, it's more I was so like curious to see how they were going to implement his regular quarterback run scheme, and they really ran quarterback power like 2 or 3 times. They really let him drop back and play quarterback.
Right.
And that was super interesting to see. And they really didn't run a lot of their double screen action, a lot of really good screen action. They ran like that quick, that quick speed reverse to Deontay Harris. But
that was beautiful.
I think there's a lot more gadget stuff they can do. So I'm curious to see. They got, a collapsed lung and 11 fractured ribs. They got some time to figure it out. Yeah. That's insane to me.
How much do you think Sean Payton revels in the degree of difficulty with Hill in?
Oh, dude, he gets off on that.
I think
that's his thing. That's his. The second somebody told him he couldn't do that, he was chewing his juicy fruit and going to town, making his game plan. Like, he was not going to let anybody tell him what he couldn't do with a tight end or whatever you want to call Taysom playing quarterback. No, he was going to do it.
Yeah. So do you think that maybe he'll put Jameis in against Denver, or is Taysom the guy going forward? Have you heard anything?
I haven't heard anything yet. I'm curious to see if they even, start maybe bringing like a little. I bet if people start, if teams start kind of diagnosing what's going on a little better, they might run a little bit of a 2 quarterback. But in the time period that we have before Drew gets back, I don't expect us to go through this like whole quarterback competition thing. I think it's either like he's going to ride with Taysom. Jameis might get a little bit of run in there, but it's just Taysom's show now.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's look, the dude, he threw like 5 incomplete passes the whole game, and
yeah, the efficiency was crazy, and it wasn't like. He still wasn't taking the shots, or he took the shots, but he wasn't taking the shots into the end zone from the red zone, which was, I wish we would have, ran some more, crossing routes or something to get him some quick reads in the red zone. But, they got time to evolve that. So hopefully we'll convert more down there. And
he had that one that was called back, the one touchdown that was called back for holding.
Oh, man, he had that underthrow. Did you see that? I know the one you're talking about. The one with Emmanuel Sanders where he just picked it off the top of the guy's head. But the duck that he threw on that first deep ball.
Oh, that was a punt, sir.
That was the ugliest throw I've seen in the NFL in my life.
And if the Falcons defender doesn't graze that dude's back,
I know,
that's
man.
a fumble. So, geez,
I know.
I know.
Emmanuel Sanders is making his money with Taysom throwing him the ball.
Is Trey Hendrickson this good?
Okay, so when he came out of Florida Atlantic in the draft, he came out like in the 5th or 6th round. I remember this stat coming up, and he had, of that year, I don't recall off the top of my head who was in that draft class at the top as pass rushers, but amongst all the pass rushers, he had like the highest rate of pressures per rush, or whatever the heck the stat is, like had the highest pressure rate amongst everybody in the draft. He was just playing at a mid-major. So I mean, they call him T-Rex because he's got short arms. But man, that dude, that power rush when he just bulldozed Matt Ryan, that was a thing of beauty. There's nothing quite, and I'll stand by this. There is nothing as exciting as a fan watching a football game either if you're into the game, either in the stadium or in front of your TV, nothing gets you as hype as a sack.
Oh yeah, I mean it's exciting even when there's the prospect of a sack. You know, like,
dude,
oh my God, fucking get him,
it's
get
crazy.
him.
I get more hype at an almost sack than I get for a pick six.
Yeah, I want to throw stuff whenever, my guy misses the quarterback by an inch, and it's just like, and then they get a first down.
Yeah, man. So, speaking of your guy, what's up? We're going to see you in the championship game, but you going to let Phillip Rivers do that?
Here's the thing, all right? That was a fluke-ass game, okay? We gave them the ball 4 times, and we still had a chance to win. I mean,
that was insane. Nobody wanted to win that game.
That was the craziest game I've watched in my life. And I've seen the collapse in Seattle, in 2016 or whatever. I mean, that one was... And here's the thing. I don't know if it's the pandemic speaking, but I really just don't care as much about the losses as I have in years past, just because it's so uncertain with all the COVID tests and who's going to be in and out. As long as we make it to the playoffs, I really don't care. I just want to see playoff football.
It's wild because, Aaron Rodgers was running hard counts in the Superdome.
Right.
So
right.
it's the playoffs don't, honestly, besides the weather, I don't want to go to Lambeau.
Well, here's my thing. I don't want us to play at Lambeau because I think we're better as a dome team. I think Rodgers would have at least another Super Bowl if the Packers were a dome team. That's just a controversial take.
That's a take. Mine. I mean, it's not even that controversial. I mean, it's it's like saying Mason Crosby would be a more accurate kicker if he kicked in a dome. Yeah,
right.
He would.
Right. And also, it's just, I think, back in the day, the Lambeau Field mystique, all that shit, I don't think that really applies anymore. And especially not with fans not there. It really doesn't.
Oh, no.
So it's everybody's out there miserable, and there's no energy from the crowd to warm you up. So it's just like, yo, y'all can take the first seed. I don't care.
I hear that.
All right, so what are your predictions for the Saints moving forward? Are we going to, in fact, meet in the NFC Championship game?
Okay, so we got Denver, Atlanta, Philly, and then Kansas City. I think we got Minnesota in there somewhere. The schedule lines up for the Saints to lose. If you're looking at it, the way they've been playing, the defense is ridiculous right now. The way they've been playing and the way the schedule lines up, I think a pessimistic view would be 2 losses.
Okay.
Because Kansas City it's a toss up. I mean, I have no idea what's going to come out of that game. I'm terrified of Kansas City, but then again, every time I go in terrified of a team, the Saints surprise the hell out of me and beat the crap out of them. So I don't know. Minnesota always scares me. Atlanta just doesn't scare me this year. Philly, that's a wreck. Oh, Philly's a wreck. Yeah, and then so once if we avoid the trap games, Denver looks like it might be a trap, but if I think these guys are stronger mentally than that.
Yeah, I don't think Drew Lock's gonna survive that defensive front.
Ooh, Cam Jordan's gonna eat.
Yeah, that's gonna be a tough one. All right, well, we'll check back in with you with the Saints on a later date. But the Pelicans just signed Brandon Ingram to an extension. Did they overpay on this?
Nah, man. So Brandon Ingram just got MIP. He shooting 40% on catch and shoot threes. He went up 20% on his free throw percentage. He's literally baby KD. They're putting the ball in his hands to end games, and he's coming through. He's a master already at the pick and roll, and he's 22 years old.
Yeah.
So no, the report is that they offered him a more modest extension last year. He turned it down, bet on himself, and he won the MIP. So you can't deny the man his money. But they just re-signed Steven Adams on a 2-year extension, so that's going to take him down on a discount next couple years. The way they're configuring the whole cap situation, though, is pretty good. Though it's forward thinking in that the Adams extension and some other pieces they're all gonna be off the books by the time the Zion rookie deal's up. So Zion's max is already gonna be there. Ingram's gonna be on his max, and they're gonna have a lot of cap flexibility going forward. So really anxious to see how they build it. I mean, they're really just plugging stuff in, seeing if it works. I think Steven Adams is gonna be a lot of fun.
Aquaman.
So Aquaman, dude, the dude is So everybody's talking about spacing, right? Everybody's talking about how are they going to space for Zion? They're going to clog the lane. If you have never seen Steven Adams set screens, do yourself a favor and just go watch that on YouTube. It's a brick wall. He hurts people.
Yeah.
And when you realize that, look at JJ Redick when he was in Philly, coming off of Embiid, that's when he had his best year ever, running off those dribble handoffs, and the pick and roll game that Steven Adams can come with Ingram. Like, Zion can start running, he can start being the roll man and pick and roll with a big old tree setting screens for him. It's really, really going to be a lot of fun to watch. And the defense is going to be, people going to hurt after they play the Pelicans.
I agree. That was a sneaky good pickup by y'all. And that's going to help Zion so much. I mean, it's an exciting little team. I mean, I love my Pacers, but I keep an eye on the Pelicans too because I don't hate them as much as I hate the Saints.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
man. The Pacers. I heard you talking last week. You wanted Drew.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a little soft spot for the Pacers, man, because I know you're mad at him, but I love Depot. I've always been a Victor Oladipo fan.
I still love him. I just want him to stay, and he doesn't want to stay.
He's just, man, that dude is a dog. He's a player. He was my first choice when that came out that he was unhappy or whatever. I was like, reunite the holidays. Give me Victor Oladipo. I'm in.
Yeah.
So, but that didn't materialize, and then you guys tried to get Gordon Hayward back apparently too, and that didn't work either.
I was so happy about that. I didn't want Gordon Hayward, man, and we offered him a modest deal, and he was like, nah.
And then y'all offered him Miles Turner too. Huh?
Yeah, it was a sign and trade offer, and didn't work out. But look, Michael Jordan, he knows best, right?
Man, he's that is a weird team, ain't it? Like.
It's the worst contracts all on one team.
They got Melo, Gordon Hayward. They got who they just signed to play. Did they sign a big guy? I don't even remember. I know they got I don't know if they have a Zeller still. One of the Zellers used to be there. I don't think they're there anymore. Man, that's a PJ Washington plays down in the post. That's just a weird setup they got down there. Malik Monk is kind of a disappointment.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard bad things about the organization in Charlotte, but we'll see if I'm super skeptical about LaMelo. One of my buddies is like calling him the future GOAT. I don't know if he's trolling me or not. I can't tell.
I mean, he's good for a couple of highlight plays here and there, but the dude can't shoot. And I don't know how all the Ball brothers are just not consistent shooters. It's bizarre.
Well, here's the thing, though. Lonzo shoots like 40% on catch and shoots last year. He was crazy good. He still can't shoot a free throw for shit. It's incredible.
What happened to him in the bubble, by the way?
Oh, I don't want to talk about it. I don't know. So the big conversation with Lonzo kind of on Pell's Twitter and such is, so Lonzo's not a point guard, and that's a hot take, but he's not a point guard. He's a wing. He's a secondary creator. He's a guy that can absolutely rebound and run transition because that's where he's like literally next level. There may not be another player in league history that's as good at him at the outlet pass, but he can't run a pick and roll. He can't drive to the rim. He can't hit a pull-up three. He's not a half-court point guard. But if you stash him somewhere and let him shoot from the corner or let him shoot from the wing, he's deadly. It's wild. Yeah. It's the wildest thing in the world.
Well, what about?
And he's a great defender too. Like he's super long. He's 6'6". Like if he would just say I'm not a point guard and I'm a small forward for 1 year, he'd make bank. They throw the money at him because he'd be a great small forward.
What does Stan Van Gundy do to help his game, along with Zion?
So Stan thinks pretty much what I just said. So there was like a podcast. He was on Low Post, the podcast, a while back. I guess before he got the job, and what he said about Lonzo was his strengths are that he's phenomenal in transition, that he's a great catch and shoot, spot up shooter, that he is a incredibly talented and long defender, perimeter defender, but he's just not really good at running the half court offense. So Stan's plan is to let Brandon Ingram run the half court, let him run the pick and roll, let Eric Bledsoe run the half court. Hell, Zion might get some half court ball handling, but Lonzo that's not going to be his primary role, and he's going to shine. And dude, Lonzo Twitter is out of control. Those dudes are ridiculous. If you want to see absolute delusion, there's just a group of people that they stand so hard for the Ball family that they won't hear that he's not a point guard.
Right.
They will burn your house down. It's insane.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. I just don't like the dad. I think all three of the brothers are all right for themselves, but the dad is just sort of a kind of a.
He's
douche.
just an arrogant dickhead.
Yeah.
He's just an arrogant. He said what was that sexist thing he said a way back that Jeannie Buss couldn't run a team or some shit because she was a woman?
Oh wow. Well,
that's what Lonzo was over. He's just arrogant. He's just arrogant for no damn reason. I'm glad his son's on MJ's team. I want to see him play 21.
Yeah. No, there's going to be a game of 21 and it's like, "Hey, LeVar, if I beat you, you can't come to any home games." So
that would be fantastic. I'd pay. I'd pay to see that, and I'd pay to see Trump get dragged out the White House. I'd pay to see them both.
Dude,
Make it a package deal.
That would be an epic end to 2020.
It would.
Corey, thank you so much for joining me on the Jesse LaSala Show. I would love to have you back anytime you're ready. And,
yeah, man.
Stay safe, as I know you will, and enjoy your Thanksgiving, sir.
Yeah, dude. Let's catch up when you get back in town.
Absolutely.
All right, dude. Later.